G'day fellow Christian, this is must see and subscribe to going here on YouTube, Bruzo Dragonius. There has been a bit of some sort of drama that's gone basically viral all over furry social media and all that kind of stuff. Even though that this is completely old news and all that kind of stuff, as you know, and there's plenty of furry YouTubers before myself just talking about this matter. And it comes down to some sort of an incident where there has been a certain cosplayer at a certain furry convention dressing up as a certain character, and this certain character is Bomb Voyage, and it is at the furry convention that was FWA, I believe this year or last year, I'm not quite sure, where with this Bomb Voyage cosplayer, there's been a lot of videos been going around of him shooting guns and all that kind of stuff. Just waving it around like some sort of a complete maniac. And trying to scare people and all that kind of stuff. And that has been happening at a furry convention in America, where almost the entire population of America had been exposed to school shootings. For instance, the Columbine shooting, for instance. And it is really, really messed up. Even more so. Because the theme of this furry convention is Furry University. In other words, it is themed after college frat life, or perhaps high school life, and for some reason bringing something that is remotely school themed in America is, to my personal opinion, is sort of messed up. So this begs the question, is it okay to bring realistic cosplay weapons at not just furry conventions, but any convention in general? As an Australian, because that even though that we're not really exposed to this much gun violence or anything like that in our childhoods, I mean, especially growing up in the 90s, that I'm this person that haven't been exposed to any shootings or any stabbings or something like that, or any whatsoever. I mean, ever since the Port Arthur massacre, I believe, the Liberal Prime Minister, I should say, John Howard had organised a buyout of all civilian guns and all that kind of stuff, and make it either illegal or that much harder to own a gun for personal use as a civilian. And I'm talking, of course, that those civilians that are not either trained in the military or cop. You see, I'm pretty much on the fence on this question, on my opinion and all that kind of stuff. Because the fact being is that I haven't been exposed to gun violence personally and all that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about, of course, well, okay, there is this person, that is Bon Voyage, that is using it as a prop for a non-furry cosplay. Like I said, if it were here in Australia, I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't be that much intimidated because I'm not traumatized, right? But I'm only speaking for myself of saying that, because you've got to realize that there are those that are very much traumatized to gun violence and all that kind of stuff. And especially where these Bon Voyage kind of going up there on the hotel balcony and then doing all of this and carrying on like a complete jackass just for the laughs and giggles. just going up like that with the gun, waving around it at the balcony. You know, I know this is like I know this is just me holding a gun, but this is what he was like that I just seen. Right. But the question is, would it be okay if I were to organise a convention of any sort, whether it's a cosplay convention or a furry convention? Would I allow realistic prop guns in this setting? Well, depending if I know that there are people coming there from not only just America, but even war-torn countries, you know. Because you got to know the factors that for one, I may not be exposed to all this as a kid or as a hatchling, okay. But there are those that are very much traumatized to even see this guy or see any cosplayer carrying a gun and carry on like a complete jackass and all that kind of stuff. This was done in America. But what if you organize a furry convention that is post-COVID, where it is safe to come to Australia from any other country in the world, like the US or America and all that kind of stuff. I mean, what if there is a furry coming to a furry convention here in Australia, all the way from Ukraine, all the way from Russia, or even, God forbid, the Holy Land itself. After all this crap that I've seen out there in the Holy Land, and for some reason, I am not recognizing Israel because of what they're doing. But I'm just going to call it the Holy Land regardless, because that's what it is known for, the biblical Holy Land. And all of the Holy Land that we're just seeing out there in the news is turning out to be a complete war zone. And even that I've seen that Lebanon isn't really that far from it. You see what I'm getting? That what if if I were to organize a convention myself, I'd try to be sensible with it and banning such of those things, because of the fact being is, even wearing, there's coming into this time right now that people can be traumatized by seeing weapons, like even fake realistic weapons, including this as well. I know that I don't know if I'm going to be in trouble by seeing it, but just to see, just to know that it's all fake. I'm cutting my hand. No blood. It's all foam. Now, there is this procedure where the reason why I brought this sword, for example, is that even weapons that is realistic as this is all foam, by the way. You know, no blunt edges and all that. Completely foam. Right? It's only a prop weapon. You wouldn't kill anyone with it. That some realistic prop weapons has something to prove, to even show that it's fake. Right? And even to those that aren't really shown to be fake, to be shown as realistic, people at the gate will put on what appears to be cable ties on these weapons, just to confirm that these realistic weapon props are fake. Basically, this is a cable tie. Most of the guns and all that kind of stuff, whether that they're realistic or not, have this sort of orange marking right onto the barrel to notice that it's not a real weapon. There's a thing, because I could easily, like, if I were to commit such terrorism at a con, I could literally spray paint the tip of a gun, of an actual gun, to the same color and all that kind of stuff, and pass it on as fake. But in actuality, it would be real. Right? I do not condone terrorism whatsoever. I do not condone it. Okay? I condemn it. Okay? But this is the exam. This is what people in these countries that have so much gun violence are exposed to. That they have some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder, that even carrying a realistic weapon and not a prop gun, like not a cartoonish gun like a Nerf gun, or probably if they were one of those saber guns from Halo or whatever, okay, those would be fine because they're not real guns, they're just toy guns. And those guns from Halo or whatever, or those oversized guns and all that kind of stuff, they don't really exist in the real world. Okay, or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that the world aren't really, haven't really invented the real working lightsabers anyway, to slice people down like that they do in Star Wars. Okay? As a matter of fact, those Nerf guns and that would be absolutely fine. Right? Because they are fake. They are toys, even with the Nerf logo. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, I'm not condemning cosplayers that wanting to bring weapons and all that kind of stuff, because it's a part of their cosplay, whether they're cosplaying as Master Chief or Duke Nukem or James Bond even though James Bond, he carries a lot of PPK, right? But I don't know of this Bomb Voyage character, to be honest. And the thing about it is that this is the motivation as to why I want to make this video up. I mean, bring this thing, because to me, I think that it would be acceptable to bring prop weapons, even realistic or not realistic. But, however, there should be rules around that to get people to go into these events and feel safe about it. Because you see, going to conventions, whether it's cosplay or furry or whatever, they are events where people supposed to go to and express their hobbies or themselves without any harm whatsoever. Whether it's physical or mental harm, that we go to these things and be safe while doing so. But however, I think that there should be rules. There should be rules that set around to this, that I believe that they should get thoroughly checked at the door, like at the gate or whatever, or at the registration. And if it's a weapon, and I believe that they should be thoroughly inspected to prove that the weapon that the cosplayer carries is not real. And I mean thoroughly inspected, right? Even with some weapons that if they can, they could probably disassemble it just for inspection and put it together back again or whatever if they can. Or look through the barrels and all that kind of stuff. And to certify that it's safe and fake, that they put on that they would end up putting something like this on. Even though they've got this thing, I believe when I was when I went to Supernova or even Fursuit or something like that, where they put this thing on to know that it's not a real weapon. Then I just carry this thing like a prop. But there should be rules of how these prop weapons should stand, but there should be laws around them. So I usually have this as basically as a prop to one of my photos and all that kind of stuff, because as my persona and sort of a knight, sort of a hero or something like that, or kind of a knight type occupation, I should say, or whatever. And there should be laws of how things are handled. So for instance, if I were to go like this, or like that, as I was trying to strike someone, that should be considered as a no-no, because people will be afraid, they probably would feel intimidated because of such trauma. Same with the Bomb Voyage guy, where they just end up trying to pretend to shoot anyone just to make it last and all that kind of stuff. At a furry convention in America, may I add, where, like I said, there is a lot of school shootings, because they decide to legalize the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. So, like I said, I reckon that it should be okay, but there has to be some regulations of how that they end up being used and ways to enforce that. And not to mention that they should also be strict, there should also be security to enforce these rules. Not just the con staff, not just the attendees, but also the security to do it. And maybe that Bon Voyage person trying to shoot with these trying to be like some sort of flip, I should say, or some sort of jackass, like doing this or this, or this, or just going into the balcony and then go like that. I'll just use my hands. I think that he should be in trouble for that, to be honest. That they should at least get a bit of a warning, or say, hey mate, please don't do that. And if they keep on doing that, then there should be repercussions for such behavior. And don't get me wrong, I am not picking on cosplayers in general, but like I see, I'm not, even though I do treat the cosplayers the same as furries, because I'm pretty much both. And if I were to continue on about that, I probably would be going around in circles and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm just going to leave it from there. So, excuse my human hands whatsoever, but I couldn't find my other hands. So anyway, comment down what you think about this this situation. Do you think that what are your thoughts on this matter? Do you think that realistic prop weapons should be allowed at cons? Maybe that you have some things to add to this subject. I was going to add if like what is there should there be a bit of a regulation around costume attire of around cons and all that kind of stuff, because like, you know, military attire or police attire or whatever. I probably will be talking about that on a different video. What are your thoughts? Do you want to add to this as well? You're more than welcome. If you do like this video, make sure you show me by and you press the algorithm for my video by pressing the thumbs up. If you do like any of my content, and if you want to support me on my videos, make sure please consider subscribing to this channel, as I love you if you do, even though that it's a bit of a small thing, but it does a hell of a lot to me whatsoever. If you have subscribed already, even though I would thank you for it, and I love you if you did, thank you for your subscription. If you want to be the first person to know, make sure you ring that bell icon. The usual social media sites, it's also in the description down below, and also ways to give me money. If you want to friend me on PSN or meet me in Tamriel, which I probably would be there, just look for my gamer tag or search for my gamer tag of Bruzo21 if you're into game with me or whatever. I'm pretty much open and all that kind of stuff. That's just about it. As I was saying, thank you so much for watching this, and even to my subscribers, thank you so much for watching this and subscribe to my channel as well, as you probably would do me a favor, as well as getting the other algorithm to recommend my videos a bit more. As always, I'm just going to leave it up by saying, may you guide you all, and bye for now.